The desert planet of Crics Tour wasn't just dying, it was gasping for its last breath. The sun scorched what was left of its cracked surface, and even hope had evaporated. Amid that silence, a stranded human soldier trudged through the dust, half dead, clutching the last drops of his water. Then came a sound. Faint, trembling, impossible. "Please, sir, just one sip." He turned and saw a dragon child, small, gray, and broken. What happened next would echo across the galaxy as one of the purest acts of humanity ever witnessed. Hey, if stories about courage, kindness, and what makes humans truly human inspire you, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe so you never miss another tale that reminds us why, even in the darkest corners of space, compassion still shines brightest. And if this story moves you, share it. Someone out there might need a reminder that kindness isn't extinct yet. The desert planet of Crics Tour was dying, and everyone knew it. Once it had rivers that shimmered under two suns and skies so clear you could see the stars even in daylight. But now, everything that lived was either gone or about to be. The water processors had failed months ago, and the Galactic Relief Council had already written the world off as too expensive to save. Most species evacuated long before the sand turned gray. But Private James Cooper was still there, not because he wanted to be, but because fate had a cruel sense of humor. His supply transport had gone down during a relief mission, a bad engine, a misread atmosphere, and suddenly he was stranded on a dying world. 4 days until rescue, Command said. 4 days in heat that could melt steel. He had one survival pack, a rifle, and a single canteen of water. 6 hours into his trek across the dunes, his lips were cracked, his vision a blur. Each step was a negotiation between exhaustion and willpower. The sun wasn't just hot. It was a weapon. Then came the voice. "Please, sir, just one sip of water." It was soft, trembling, so human it almost startled him. James turned, scanning the wreckage of a collapsed building. And that's when he saw it. A small creature half buried in dust, scales dull and cracked. A dragon kid, maybe 8 years old in human years. His wings hung limp. His eyes, golden once, now faded to amber, fluttered weakly. James knelt, heart pounding. "Hey, buddy. You okay?" The little dragon tried to lift his head but couldn't. "Water. Please. Just one sip." James unscrewed his canteen. It was half full, barely enough for him to reach the rescue point if he rationed carefully. His throat burned just thinking about it. He looked at the kid again, the flaking skin, the trembling claws. Hours from death, maybe less. He swallowed hard. Command had been clear. Conserve your water. Survive. But orders never accounted for this. He sighed. "Take it." The dragon blinked, confused. "No, just sip. I need you to drink," James said firmly, pressing the canteen into his claws. "That's an order." The dragon hesitated, then obeyed. He drank like someone tasting life itself, desperate gulps that made his body shake. James watched silently, ignoring the dry sting in his own throat. Every gulp was another hour off his own life. When the last drop was gone, the dragon exhaled softly, his scales brightening just a little. "Why?" he whispered. "You don't know me. I'm nobody." James stood, his knees trembling. "You're a kid who got left behind, and where I come from, we don't leave kids to die in the desert. Not if we can help it." The dragon stared at him, a look far too old for such young eyes. "Your people do this? Give away water?" James gave a faint smile. "Sometimes we're stupid like that." The dragon tried to laugh, but instead collapsed forward. James caught him, surprised at how light he was. "What are you doing?" the dragon asked, voice weak. "Carrying you," James grunted, hoisting him onto his back. "There's a settlement north, maybe 15 clicks. Might have water, might not, but we're going to find out." "You can't," the dragon murmured. "Not in this heat, not without water. Watch me." And with that, James started walking. The first few steps weren't so bad. Adrenaline masked the fatigue. But soon, the weight of both the heat and the small dragon pressed down like lead. His lips cracked deeper. His vision shimmered. The horizon swayed. By the second hour, his mouth was pure fire. By the third, every step felt like it might be his last. "Put me down," the dragon begged. "Please, sir, let me die. Save yourself." James shook his head, barely able to speak. "Not happening, kid." The sun climbed higher, merciless. The sand beneath them felt alive, shifting, burning. James stumbled once, twice, then fell to his knees. He forced himself up again. "Why?" the dragon cried, tears turning to dust before they hit the ground. "Why are you doing this?" James coughed, tasting blood. "Because someone's got to prove there's still good in the universe. Might as well be us." He took another step, and another. Then his legs finally gave out, and the world dimmed to black. But just before he fell completely, he felt something. A small claw gripping his arm. The dragon, weak but determined, caught him. "No," the boy whispered fiercely. "Your turn. I carry you." James wanted to protest, but the darkness was too heavy. His last thought before passing out was simple. Best kind of stupid there is.
When James woke up, the world was moving. The sound of wind, sand scraping metal, a low hum. He wasn't walking anymore. Someone else was. The dragon kid was carrying him. At first, it didn't make sense. The creature had been frail, barely breathing hours ago. But now, his scales shimmered faintly under the pale light, still dull, yet alive, the color of dawn before sunrise. "You're carrying me?" James croaked. The dragon's voice shook but stayed steady. "You gave me water. You gave me life. Now I give you both back." He staggered forward, tiny legs sinking into the dunes. The sight was absurd, a child-sized dragon dragging a grown human soldier through a dying desert. Yet somehow it was the most beautiful thing in the universe. Every few minutes the dragon would stop, catch his breath, then push forward again. He whispered things to himself, words of encouragement, soft growls of determination. "You can't stop," he muttered. "Not yet. Human saved you. You save human." By the fourth hour, the heat rose again, cruel and heavy. The horizon danced with false mirages. Lakes that didn't exist, trees that would vanish the closer you got. But the dragon didn't stop. He leaned James against a fallen beam once, breathing hard. His claws trembled. He could have left him. He could have flown off to find shelter alone. But he didn't. Because he'd learned something. Something more powerful than thirst or fear. That kindness wasn't weakness, it was strength. The hours stretched into a blur. James drifted in and out of consciousness, catching fragments of the dragon's murmured words. Sometimes prayers, sometimes curses. Once, a quiet laugh. "You humans," the dragon whispered. "You really are the strangest creatures." Then, sometime near dawn, the sound of engines cut through the silence. Low, distant, unmistakable. A rescue ship. The dragon looked up, blinking through tears. "Over here," he shouted, his voice raw. "He's here." The ship descended slowly, its light scattering the sand like falling stars. Medics rushed out, voices sharp with disbelief. They found the boy still holding James upright, too weak to speak, too stubborn to fall. When they tried to take the human from him, he resisted, claws locked tight around James's arm. "He gave me water," he rasped. "Don't let him die." The medics worked quickly. They said James had been minutes from death, that he'd done something reckless, foolish, unnecessary. But even they couldn't hide the awe in their voices, because when they looked at that little dragon, glowing brighter now, scales blooming with color, they saw something unmistakable. Hope. 3 days later, in the medical bay of the rescue cruiser, James opened his eyes. The ceiling lights were soft, sterile. His body ached everywhere, but he was alive. And sitting beside him, tail curled neatly, was the dragon kid. Scales now a brilliant sapphire blue. Eyes bright as molten gold. "You're alive," the boy whispered, smiling. James chuckled weakly. So are you. Told you we'd be stupid together." The dragon laughed, a sound like glass chimes in the wind. Then he reached into a small satchel and placed something in James's hand. It was the canteen, polished clean. And on the side, freshly engraved words glinted under the light. "For the human who taught me that one sip is never enough, when you can give everything." James blinked hard, trying to keep his vision clear. "You did this?" "My name is Crictow," the dragon said softly. "When I grow up, I want to be just like you, stupid enough to save people." James laughed, that kind of laugh that hurts because it's wrapped in tears. He reached out, ruffling the dragon's head. "Best kind of stupid there is." Outside, Crics Tour ES's sun was setting for the last time. A dead planet, at final light scattering across the hull of the rescue ship. But inside, something new had been born. A bond that would echo across centuries. A story that soldiers whispered in mess halls. The day a human gave everything, and taught a dragon what humanity really means. If that story touched your heart, take a second, breathe, and think about it. Sometimes being human isn't about strength or weapons or survival. It's about compassion, the kind that changes galaxies one act at a time. So if you felt that spark, hit that like button. It tells the algorithm and us that stories like this still matter. Subscribe for more powerful HFY tales, real, raw, and deeply human. And share this video. Maybe someone out there needs a reminder that kindness can save more than just lives. Because in the end, it's not about surviving the universe. It's about making it worth surviving.